Today I want to talk about something that has been on my mind for quite a while, and probably yours too, right? But this is a situation that we really don't know how to address and how to start speaking about it. Now, this isn't about hate or division. This is about language. This is about how we speak, how we understand each other, and what happens when personal identity starts to shape public opinion, starts to shape public conversation, making the whole thing just a little bit confusing. Recently, Cynthia Erivo, she gave a speech at the GLAAD ceremony, and it garnered a lot of attention. Well, it actually garnered my attention, and I don't know if you see it, but I'm here to tell you what went on, right? While her words were poetic, emotional, and expressive, it was just a little bit too much for the average person who just was trying to understand what the hell she talking about. But let me look at the script and you understand what I'm saying.
I have spoken about being your whole self and your true self. I speak about the prizes that come from being you against the odds, but rarely do I acknowledge how hard that can be. So I thought that I would make some room for those of us who are trying to find the courage to exist as we want. It isn't easy. None of it is. Waking up and choosing to be yourself, proclaiming a space belongs to you when you don't feel welcomed, teaching people on a daily basis how to address you, and dealing with the frustration of reteaching people a word that has been in the human vocabulary since the dawn of time. They, them. Words used to describe pedantically two or more people, poetically a person who is simply more. It isn't easy to ask people to treat you with dignity, since you should just have it because it's a given. It isn't easy to learn to grow who you are if the world around you is knocking at your door, telling you to stay inside.
All right, so she's saying they, them is poetic. And I get that, right? I understand it. It's emotional, touching, it, everything in between. But poetry and poetic language is not how we build laws, and not how we teach children, or not how we get through our day-to-day lives, or even hold a conversation. In most of history, in most of life, right, we relied on language being a constant. One person being a singular, and they or them meaning a collective or a group of people. And that includes when knowing someone talking about one person, a singular, or when they're talking about a group of persons. So now people are expected to interpret they and them based on emotion and based on several other factors that you have to guess and play this game with. I don't really think that's realistic. And that brings me to the biggest point that I think people have with this thing, right? Why do I need to talk in a poetic tone to be respectful? Why do I need to speak in someone else's poetic framework to be deemed as respectful? I don't understand that part of it. Why do I have to guess if you're speaking metaphorically, literally, emotionally? How am I supposed to know if you're asking for emotional affirmation? Or are you just asking me to change how I speak the English language for my whole life? And let me be honest, right? Most people don't have a toggle switch in their brain. Like, most people aren't a walking dictionary, right? They don't have a toggle for poetic mode and literal mode. And what Cynthia asking for here isn't emotional awareness. It's constant emotional interpretation, not emotional awareness. And that's a whole lot to put on a society that's already struggling with the basics of these things. I think that is too much to ask your people. Let me take it one step at a time. Now, this is the part that make me pause. And yes, they has been a word that has been around since the dawn of English language in history, right? But it has always represented something. It has always represented a plural, right? And as a representation, or as a vague representation of a singular when you don't know, like, who the person is. Like, somebody left their glasses here. Somebody left their coffee mug on top of the table, right? That's a vague singular. And that's a passive statement. That's not the same as saying, call Sam. They want to talk to you. That's not the same. Sam is singular. And again, this isn't about refusing to respect anyone. This is about mutual respect. If you're asking the world to adapt a new framework, Don't gaslight people into thinking they're stupid just for asking questions, or they're wrong, or they're going to get cancelled. Now let me zoom in for a second. This is not just about pronouns. This is how society functions as a whole. Imagine if in every field we start using the English language as poetic instead of literal. The field of science, the field of law, the field of medicine. A diagnosis from a doctor going to become a vibe now. A law going to become an interpretation of how you feel that day. And if you really look at the way society shaping up right now, we actually heading down that direction. This is why I make this whole video for, right? Because this brings me to my initial point. Are we growing as a society? Are we actually being inclusive? Or are we creating a place where people are afraid to talk and ask questions and just agreeing to whatever popular at the moment? Because let me be real, right? Just like me, many people watching this, not against trans people, you're not against non-binary people, you're not against the whole allegiance, right? What we are against is people dictating how I use the English language. Especially when I use the English language, the way that it has been set up since inception. You can't come now and want to change the way that somebody else uses the English language. I think that is what most people have a problem with. It's more or less a feeling like you're being forced to adopt this language, or else you risk being fired from your job, you risk being cancelled, you risk a whole lot of negative things happening. I know this is why I think the real conversation really happens, right? You can't be respectful and skeptical at the same time. You can't care about people without being forced to change the way you communicate for the rest of your life. The world is a diverse place. And so is everybody's opinion. Everybody have a different opinion, right? And that is okay. That don't mean one is right and one is wrong. That just means that people have a difference of opinion. I don't want anyone harassed or silenced. Far from it. In fact, I believe in free speech to the point that I will fight for your right to speak your truth. Loudly. And as proudly as you want to. But it's when your voice start dictating how others should speak. And when people are threatened, cancelled, and shamed simply for not agreeing with your viewpoint, simply for not agreeing with your personal worldview, or not adopting your poetic version of the English language, then you're no longer the underdog. You have become the loudest one in the room now. And maybe you have become the biggest part of the problem that you were trying to fix all along. But at the end of the day, I'm just one person sharing my personal thoughts, my personal opinion. But I am sure that a lot of people would agree with me. And 100% sure a lot of people would not agree with me. But I invite you to speak up, whichever way you believe in. But do it respectfully. Not to attack, not to condemn, not to cancel. Just to be honest. And if you feel like having a discussion, let me have it on it here, right? Leave some comments in the comment section. Tell me why you agree with me or why you don't agree with me. And let me have a respectful conversation in the comment section. If you like this video, be sure to drop a like. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I will see you in the next one. My name is Jeremy for Them Fellas Reviews. Later.